I'm Davey Wavy, creator of Himros.tv, and I'm joined by sex coach Finn Deerhart and model Dalton Briggs. And today, we're talking about the joy of giving head and our most recent Himros.tv shoot in Palm Springs. So let's get started. I feel very self-conscious with we're doing this together. We don't often get the chance to all be in the same room together. Yeah. This is very exciting.
This is fun.
BTW, guys, I finally met Finn. In real life. Yeah, not just on the internets, because that's not real.
Yeah. How did that feel like you knew me already?
Well, it did feel, yeah, you're more petite than I expected.
That's what people say.
Yeah, but your personality was so much bigger. So yeah.
Yeah, and a great help on the shoot and on the set. A big help.
Yeah, and this queen, Dalton, I've known her for a while. So Himros Live is sponsored by Himros.tv, the place to have hotter sex. Created by Davey Wavy, we upload weekly erotic videos to help you have the best sex of your life. And then we discuss them on this podcast. Go to Himros.tv/pod to save 20% off your membership, which is as little as 40 cents per day. 40 cents, guys.
Yeah.
40 cents. How much does a cup of coffee cost?
I say our cold brews this morning were like $4 a piece.
$5?
Yeah.
Wow.
You sound like my grandpa.
Yeah. But is that coffee life-changing? It is for you.
It really is.
Okay.
I mean, it's part of my ethos.
Well, you can have your life changed for just 1/10 of the cost of a cold brew.
And this is true.
This is true.
This is true.
You'll get instant access to our erotic library of cock-throbbing videos that inspire deeper connections, sexual exploration, and increased pleasure. Visit Himros.tv/pod and save 20%. So, hey guys, how are you?
I'm good. Hello.
I feel glowy.
You feel glowy?
I do.
You're in the afterglow?
Yes, and just excited right now.
Yeah, we're all sharing one mic, so make sure that we all kind of gather around here. It's very cozy, and so hopefully it's cozy for you listening at home. It's a very
intimate,
up close and personal. So we just got back from we did a shoot in Palm Springs for Himros.tv. Literally, I mean, we walked in the door 15 minutes ago.
Yes.
I feel like I have a booger in my nose.
You likely
is that happening?
You probably do.
Can you see it? I feel like you're looking at it.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Stop it. So we walked in the door like 30 minutes ago. We finished last night. We're gonna get into all of that. I guess let's put a little bookmark in that because we need to discuss this week's video, which is the joy of giving head.
Yes.
For you guys at home, if you would like to see it, thank you, Janet, by the way. She sent me an email this morning. She's like, I listened to your podcast when I'm cuddled in bed, and I went to click the video to play it, and the preview wasn't working. The preview is now working. It's a really hot preview. So you can go to Himros.tv, and even if you're not a member, you can still watch the preview so that you'll know what we're talking about today. But even if you don't see the video, you probably do know what the joy of giving head feels like.
On either end.
Yeah. Yeah. So the reason we created it, I guess to set it up, it's a video where it's two real life boyfriends, and they have sex in this really cool, how would you describe that chair?
Suspended.
Very modern.
Circular.
Clear.
Spinning.
It's like an egg, like a clear egg suspended.
Like a bowl almost.
Yeah.
It's like a clear bowl that you sit on.
Like a fish bowl.
It was in this house called the Darling Mansion, Toronto, which is like it's set up as like a pleasure palace. This lesbian runs it, and it's like really like amazing.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, then that's like in the hallway. So anyway, it's two guys having engaged in oral sex, if you will. And I will. And I think what makes
clinical.
They're blowing each other and just sucking that cum out. The thing is, it's a lot of videos, a lot of porns and erotic videos. They focus on the pleasure that the receiver gets when, and obviously it feels really good to get your dick sucked. And it's usually like all focused on him, and he's the one that comes, and the end. So we thought we'd put a little twist on that, which is this is more focused on the pleasure that the giver is receiving by sucking this big, beautiful penis. And the cum shot in the video, which is quite
come shower.
Effusive, yes.
Effusive, that's the word. I was like, eruptive? Is that a word? Like,
effervescent.
And it's in slow motion. So it's the giver of the blowjob that comes in the video. So what do you guys think of the video? Do you have any thoughts?
It was really hot, and you could really tell that the giver was really enjoying giving head. You know, like you could really see it in the way he was sucking the dick and the way he was just like gently, but yet at the same time passionately, like involved in the sucking process.
Do you enjoy sucking dick?
Oh yes, as a top, yes. Just because it's like I don't bottom, so I have to be really good at giving head. I feel like to make the other person want to get in the mood to bottom for me.
Does that feel penetrative to you? Like first of all, let's pretend that this dick is a microphone. Get a little bit closer because you're too far away. Do you feel like when because you do only top in real life and in the scenes that you film, is giving head your way of exploring that more bottomy side?
Yes,
letting someone in?
Yeah, I think so. It's more of me being okay, since I feel like it's me kind of giving up a little control, because they could either face fuck me, they could go in, and I mean, I really tried to go and swallow it as much as I can. So I mean, it's like, and try to open up my throat to it and everything like that. So yeah, it's kind of like me saying, okay, here's your control. Here's your part of control. So therefore it's not full that I have full control of it, and makes it seem like they also want it. Because I mean, if I know that I'm giving them head and they're getting turned on, they have a hard throbbing dick, then I understand that they're really enjoying it, and that means we could keep going, and it's not like I'm forcing something that they don't want to do.
How is it for you?
Thanks for sharing that. With the video or sucking dick or both?
Both.
I love sucking dick so much. When I watched this video, I felt instantly connected to it because it was like slower than, like you had mentioned, where like often we just see the dynamic portrayed where all the privilege or like the joy that's being had is in the one that's getting sucked off, and it's for a particular set of reasons, and that's only one template in how we can connect in an oral way. So that's like more consumption. But I thought that this video was super cool because there was a sensual side of it. It was like I could have like a relationship with what was going on. And whenever somebody's just like only worshiping the top, it's kind of like a narrowing of the experience. And this felt like more expanded. Like I really felt like if I wasn't sitting there with you guys in here, I would have masturbated. And I don't usually do that to I don't get turned on in like traditional porn videos when someone's getting sucked, because it's just like, oh, come on, there's so much more joy to be had here for everybody. Yeah. You
would have jerked off to that?
Yeah, I was. But I was conscious of the fact that I'm sitting next to Dalton. I'm like, okay, well, I'm like, notice my turn on, but like, I'm like, okay, here's an analogy that I think of, like when we're eating, if people just like gulp your food down so fast you don't know that you even had it, or if you're driving somewhere and you kind of check out and you don't realize how you got to where you're going.
It's a little bit mindless.
Yeah, versus like really slowing down. I think a lot of people, when they like take a psychedelic or something, they're just like, oh my God, look at this little flower. And that stuff's available to us all the time if we just tune into it. And the same thing around sex. And I thought that this video showed that, like it was like every little part, his mouth was just like caressing and making a relationship with this guy's penis.
Yeah, and it's a very slow video. I think some people are turned on by that. I think probably other people are frustrated by that. And I think the content that we create, it's always like kind of an experiment, and it's also a balancing act. So it's like this video is really slow. There's other videos that are really fast paced. It's kind of like serving all these different flavors, and individually it just, it's just one facet, but together you can see like a more complete picture.
Yeah. And you can have all those different flavors at one time. I mean, 1 minute might be really slow and expanded and making a relationship with every tiny little place on his penis. And then maybe the next minute you're just consumed and wanting to just like, vigorously narrow yourself. Yeah. What?
Vigorously, like, just go in and just like go hard. And then other times.
Yes, girl.
Yeah. Expand your expression around it.
Yeah. And you do enjoy sucking dick.
I love it. Yes.
Yeah, it's funny because like I wrote a little blog post about it, And I think like when you get fucked in your ass, it's obvious. Like there's a prostate in there. It's like a pleasure point. I think sucking dick, it's more, to me, it's more, the turn on happens in your brain. There's no prostate in the back of your mouth. And like, ultimately, like, how is sucking a dick any different than sucking on a hot dog? Very different. Right. Yeah. Well, but physically, I mean, if you reduce it to like holes and pegs, like it's the exact same thing.
But you can feel the energy from a cock though. Like that's something like you're tuning in, and like, I think if we're just like, we're not.
What is it like?
Just like stuffing it in your face in this way where you're not. I mean, not that stuffing it in your face is gonna tune you out, but if you aren't tuned in to what's happening, there's energy that's coming off of it. Yeah, like we talked about this the other day, and maybe was it you? You can have orgasms in your throat.
I think we may have talked about that.
Like just
sometimes I go on autopilot.
My partner like comes, and even if I've already come, it's just like I can feel like this part of my body just like really heightening sensation, and that's not just my brain. That's because I'm having this relationship with this cock. Like,
and I mean, like, I've had given head to many people, so it's like there's different energies that I've given during it because of the energy that they've given me back. You know what I mean? So it's like if the energy's not there, then the blowjob's not going to be as passionate or not as energetic to me, which doesn't make me really want to continue. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, I don't think it's going to happen. So
you guys are really ruining my analogy of the hot dog.
No, it's still a good analogy.
That's something you enjoy, going ahead.
No.
We're not going to.
I mean, my point was that it's not like it's the same things are happening, but like it's
mental though.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I think it's making
it's
because it's all psychological.
Yeah, it's all completely. Yeah.
So in your brain, it's hot because you've got this dick you're submitting to. It's in your mouth, or you're working it. You're pleasuring this guy, but. I mean, I remember when I was in college, I had to read this book called The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success by Deepak Chopra. And I think one of the laws was like it was my yoga class. It was like the law of giving. And it was like, you can't give without receiving. And I think like when you give someone the pleasure of a blowjob, you also receive that pleasure, maybe in a different form, but in return. And like, for me, it's just as hot. Maybe hotter to give someone head than to be receiving it. Yeah. I mean, you like getting blowjobs, right? But that's not.
But I mean, I prefer to give someone a blowjob and then go into fucking instead of me getting sucked, just because that's, it's that 50-50, I feel like. Instead of if someone was to go blow me and then bend over and then ask me to fuck them, it's like, wait, I didn't do nothing for you. It's like. I mean, I still would go for it, but at the same time, it's not the same. It's not as pleasurable, I don't think.
Any more notes about this before we get into the shoot?
I mean, there's so much to say. I mean, I personally have had challenge receiving blowjobs before, just because it's like the mindset. Like I've always had this in my mind, like, oh, I don't deserve attention, or I don't deserve this kind of pleasure because I'm not the kind of guy that like gets this attention, or that I've seen, thousands of times. But that's been a process for me to work through. And on the other side of it, I love giving it so much. So I think there's just a lot. If you just slow down and look at what's going on inside yourself, you can have more pleasure all the time.
You've had challenges receiving it. Why? Because you don't embody like
because I'm not like 6 foot tall, don't have a really huge cock, don't like have this demeanor where I'm like, like
come on, bro, suck my dick.
Exactly. Because it's not authentic for me. So it's like, oh, well, if I'm not like that, then I don't get the attention. And so when someone gives me the attention, it's like, oh my God, can I have this? Can I, and so it's a mental process versus like, getting on my knees and sucking dick. That's something I've done my whole life and felt like I can do that.
That would be an interesting, because even in this video, like the guy that's getting sucked off is muscular. He has a humongous dick. Like it might be interesting to do a video where the person getting blown doesn't fit this is a good idea for a future video.
I know.
Some kind of like Twinkie, like submissive guy gets sucked off to show people that it's available to everyone. We don't need to, we can color out. Oh, sorry, I just got excited and kicked the microphone. We can color outside the lines.
Totally.
Sex outside the lines.
Yeah, because ultimately we really want people to like explore their own associations around sex and get to experience more pleasure, which means just opening up more. And why not?
We kind of saw something similar to that.
I was just gonna say we
this
did.
This is the perfect tie-in. I don't.
Yeah.
Were you there when this happened? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
So okay, so let's. All right, switch gears. So as I mentioned earlier, we just got back from the Himeros.tv shoot in Palm Springs. Finn wrote most of the concepts for this shoot, maybe all but two, maybe. And there was a theme to this that we kind of used to tie all this together. Do you want to speak to what the theme was?
Yeah, it's an invitation to create more of a community and tribe between all gay men, and to try to bring integration and connection between all these different, what I see is fragmentation in the community.
And that the difference, creating unity. I mean, we spanned different ages, races,
body types.
Yeah.
Power dynamics, disabilities. Yeah, a lot. It's a lot. We're going to process in real time now.
Yeah. This might just be verbal, like throw up. Like,
it was powerful for me though. This whole week has been like, whoa, a lot to take in and a lot to process. And I'm super excited to see all this edited and come out.
Yeah, it's in the hands of the director now, and it's going to be. I mean, the hard work's done now for us. We just have to wait to see our babies. So one of the scenes that we were hitting earlier. Okay, so I don't even know how to frame this, but we did a video called Pole Switch, final title TBD, but basically it was each model gets a set amount of time to ask for whatever it is that they want. And then after that time is up, then it switches to the other model. Did I do a good job?
Totally.
That?
Yeah, it's a game where you get to practice expressing what you want, and with the assumption and also just the experience that I've had with most people who don't really have a really good handle on what it is that they truly desire. And if you ask them what they want or what they're into, they're like, I like this and that. And it's like, well, what do you want? So the goal was to put these guys into a situation where they would practice asking for what they want, and you get this whole amount of time to just keep flipping through more asks and to go a little bit deeper into your psyche. And we got some asks. We got some asks.
Yeah. So this was filmed between Pierce Paris, who I describe as like a very tall,
large man
with big jaw, like football jaw,
with a third leg.
Yeah, his dick is. How big is his dick?
Oh God,
9 inches, 10 inches,
something like that.
Yeah, it's huge and thick, and like it's just he's a big guy. And Hunter Graham, who's like 5'3", 4", like 100 pounds. He's like this like little tiny petite,
very tiny but very dynamic,
very submissive. And so this was kind of an interesting experience for him to actually vocalize what it was that he wanted from Pierce.
Yeah.
And also Pierce, though, like he said to you afterwards, he commented on it, right?
Well, he's scripted in so often because, you look like this, so this is supposed to be what you want to have.
And guess what Pierce asked for? Any guesses?
Yeah.
Nope, you're wrong. Any more guesses? Nope, that's wrong
punched.
Too. Yeah, Pierce asked for Hunter to fist him. And so Hunter fisted him.
Fearlessly, and for the first time ever in his life.
Yeah, and for the first time on Himeros TV. I mean, people have...
He was hiding behind me going like, oh my God.
Yeah, it was intense. It was intense just to be in the presence of... I've never seen anyone get fisted before, like in real life. I've seen it, obviously, on the internet. But
I haven't either in real life.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was all
other than myself,
and like improvisational.
I'm just kidding.
It was all happening like in real time. This is what I love about the shoots that we did, and what you're doing with this work is that they were in real time. So these weren't... I mean, there's a concept and a seed, but then it's like up to the models and the director and everybody involved, like us, to hold that space and then let them create at the same time what they are feeling and envisioning. And that's what they were doing. So it was just unfolding in real time, and we didn't know that was going to happen. So it was really intense for us too. And it was amazing.
Yeah, it was hot.
It was amazing for me to see. And I've never thought like, I want to see, I personally want to see this, or this is, but it was fun. It was awesome to see him do that.
Yeah.
Because usually the one that would be doing that, or the top would fit a particular criteria, I think, in the scene, at least in the mainstream, consciousness about it. And Hunter does not embody those on the surface, but as an energy, he did. And it was really, really cool.
And he enjoyed doing it. And that was authentically what Pierce wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so stay
really cool.
for that. Dalton, what was your favorite scene that we filmed, whether it was something you were in or one that you watched?
The cruising one.
Mm-hmm.
The cruising one was a really good one because I haven't ever been cruising and didn't know what cruising was.
Well, how old are you?
I'm 23.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, cruising now is just Grindr.
And I'd actually prefer cruising, you know, like over.
Why do you like it?
Because it's like I could see the person, and it was like the energy involved in it of just the quickness and all right, let's hurry up, let's get this done. This is what I want, and this is what you want, and both of us, me and Hunter, really captured that. I really, really enjoyed that scene.
So who was cruising who?
I was cruising Hunter.
Where was Hunter?
Hunter was on the pool bed.
Yeah.
Getting his suntan.
And then what happened?
And then I stopped, looked at him, then he started playing with himself and started like showing off with his goods. And then afterwards, he got up, and then we got in towards the outdoor shower and started like making out hardcore. And
you're getting bashful?
Yeah.
Why are you getting red?
It's hot.
It's hot.
It was good. It was a hot video, and I really enjoyed filming it.
I think I was picking up dinner while you guys were filming that, so I didn't get to see what happened. But Finn texted me a picture of you guys like fucking on the on one of the chairs.
Yeah.
Did that happen?
Yes, it did. Yeah, we fucked on the pool chair, and then he busted Bigelow.
Nice. So that was your favorite?
Yeah, that was my favorite. Yes.
Yeah, I think
another good one was me and Remy, where the vintage magazine.
Oh yeah.
That was a really good one because a lot of people ask me to be dominant, but then it's like when I get dominant, they're like, oh no, this is too much, you know. And then it was like, so at the beginning it was like, you know, I was really afraid to tap into that energy because I thought it'd be over the top, but when I was actually able to do it and continue doing it, that felt really great. And it really did turn me on. And
Did you have a hype man?
Yes, I did. David Wavy.
I was like, push me.
Yeah, right, but he didn't get too close.
No, that's right. I kept the couch between us. I wasn't trying to get fucked up.
Oh yeah, that was cool. I like stood behind you though because I was afraid like you might like actually fly into the table or something.
Were you standing behind me?
Yeah,
ready to catch me.
Well, because I was like, if he actually does just push you, like it unleashes some of his energy. I didn't know
there was a glass table behind me. Yeah, that could have been trouble. I think my favorite. I liked all the scenes, but there's a few that stuck out. There was one that we filmed with a guy he suffered a disability. An injury when he was 18, so he's quadriplegic now, he wanted to. He wrote in saying that he wanted to do the scene, and we tried to figure out like what's a way that we can make this work that's empowering for everyone, that's exciting, that's hot, and we did a throat fucking scene with him and Pierce, and he was like the harder I wanted, the harder the better, and
yeah,
we filmed the scene, and it's not like it's a scene about a guy that's in a wheelchair. It's a scene about two connected lovers who are like having hot sex on camera.
And an actual connection.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
Yeah, they did have a really powerful connection. And it was fun because there was the sweetness of Pierce interacting with Kenneth, that's the model's name, and moving him from like the wheelchair to the couch. But then also, so there was like the sweetness, but then there's also the sour. Like there was like Pierce really just like fucking like the daylights out of his throat. And I almost stepped in a couple times because I was like, is he gonna like pass out? Like that's a lot of dick to take. And he took it. He really did take it.
I did get really turned on during that scene, actually. It was like, that was our first one.
That was our,
oh my God.
Was that our first video?
Yes, it was.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like, we had the heart circle and then we had lunch and they were like, okay, expand your boundaries, go.
Right. Yeah, we really hit the ground running. What was your favorite scene?
Oh, It's hard for me to say because they all feel very connected to my own process. And like, I was writing the stuff that we did and I was playing such a role on the backside of everything, so they all feel like my babies.
So yeah. Which
I will say
favorite?
one of the things that really impacted me, I'll say this, I don't have a favorite just yet because I want to see the finished material. I had the most fun in the lasers. Just because that was just like fun.
What was that? What was that scene?
So we had Remy Cruz and Pierce Paris who were in a room where like I was operating the fog machine and like we had Davey with like laser gloves and it was just like really artistic and it was kind of out there in a way that I hadn't seen an erotic film before. So it was fun.
Yeah. Someone pooped out a glow stick.
Right? We can't give away everything.
Okay, I've already said too much.
But the most impacting thing I think that I saw was maybe around the fire.
What was that scene?
We had some men from Palm Springs who regularly get together like a circle jerk club. And then we had our models together and we all formulated this circle around the fire. And the whole idea is to draw this connection between all, instead of just like trying to connect with a guy by touching him, but to actually be in your own space and connect to your own pleasure and make it about you and what you're feeling and not about projecting onto somebody else. So we had all different kinds of body types, all different ages. And it was really like a thought experiment, even for the models, which I really would like to hear about your perspective in just a second. But it was just impacting to me because I saw these men who they're not cast in porns for their bodies and cocks. They're just regular men. And some of them, they're older and they really were embodied in such a way that was powerful. Like they were loving being in their body, taking up a lot of space, expressing vocally and just moving and breathing and just like watching each other, kind of like peacocks, like doing this like thing. And then our models were, I think we were like, throw them in this situation. And now I'd like to actually hear about your experience being involved in it.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed it because I have a lot of older friends that really respect my boundaries, really are, they don't want to ask for any kind of sexual or any sort of things, but it's like, to me, I understand that everybody has sexual needs, and the thing I enjoyed about it was that there were still boundaries and respect was still given during the circle jerk, but at the same time it wasn't about about anybody's one beauty. It was about yourself and what you wanted and what you had to relieve. And I just wanted to let I really enjoyed it, and I got off to it just because it was a symbol to like my older friends to like make sure that they know that they could ask for that or let them know that it's still possible, you know what I mean? And that they don't have to be sexually frustrated. If that's what they want, then that's okay,
I think something that's interesting about that scene, Finn, you had pointed out that in a lot of cultures, there is this kind of like transference of wisdom from one generation to the next. And that group of men, the older guys, who were in their like 60s and 70s or whatever, like they were really able to like demonstrate embodied sexuality. Like they were really in their bodies and expressive and, like having full body orgasms. And
they weren't shy about anything at all. I mean, things, their fetishes, they weren't shy even about any of their fetishes. I would have been like so afraid if my first time being, 60, 70 years old, coming on a porn set with a whole locket on my balls and my cock or something, but I mean, it was nipple clamps. I mean, yes, but
all sorts of like piercings,
just how confident they were in themselves and they understood and knew what they wanted and what they liked, which was really empowering to see.
Yeah. And so to tap into that transference of wisdom and knowledge, it was like they were demonstrating to these 4 younger models what it means to be an embodied, ecstatic sexual being. And Finn and I were talking about this, that it's kind of funny that like who we look to in porn to teach us about sex is always like these like younger guys who are great and awesome and who we have so much fun with. But the reality is like these 16, 17-year-olds are the ones that should be teaching us what to do,
Yeah. And that's what was cool is because it's not to even like to marginalize or minimize what young people provide. It's just to like level the value system and be like, okay, the only value to pursue is not youth and beauty. That's what it adds to the whole spectrum of humanity is amazing and beautiful. But then there's like how to show up in your body fully, and like a lifetime of experiences that are showing up, and comfort in yourself too, which you can't really have when you're early. I couldn't have it when I was even until I was in my 30s, till I started looking at that.
So each time we do one of these shoots, I feel like there's stuff that I learn as a producer of this content, and also, about my own journey. I'm curious if in the shoot there's anything that you guys learned either about this process that we have in creating content, or even about yourself. If there's anything you want to share that came up for either of you.
I would say that this shoot's been very just enlightening. I've had a lot of first experiences in this shoot that we did this week, and through it all, I'm getting to know myself sexually as well. Because when I started porn, I wasn't very sexually experienced, so everything I know is from porn, from doing porn, and those lessons can't be viable in real life. But here you go with the flow, and the energy. If you don't have the energy, then it's okay, because we'll stop it. It's not about if you don't have the energy, if you can't do certain things here, it's okay, because it's not expected to, and you're not expected to have it in sex. And this is exactly just like it. So like for me, it was very uplifting, and sexually, I'm getting to know myself every time that I filmed with you and Hemorrhoids TV, that I get to know myself a little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more, and even more sexually confident, and possibly willing to try even newer things.
Yeah. That's one of the things I think people don't realize when they watch porn, is that you see all these throbbing hard cocks, it never gets messy. Everyone just clicks into their roles. That's not what real life is. It's complicated, and I don't know, it's just, so what we're trying to portray is something that's more authentic. And so we don't want models to do anything that doesn't feel right for them, and things that their bodies are not saying they want to do, it's just, we kind of go with the flow.
I feel like I learned kind of what we mentioned about the embodiment. I could see another layer of my own self in that process. Okay, there's still learning to be had and being embodied and showing up fully. That was impacting on me for sure. And then also just I felt challenged sometimes in my capacity to hold space, and but I also felt like I walked into it and did that. So
I
it's a new format for me.
I felt challenged. I think what's difficult to do is to shift people who are used to traditional porn into doing something that's more authentic and vulnerable. How do you get that person from point A to point B? And we've been experimenting with different ways to do that. Having you on set, I think, helps, because we can say there's a sex coach here to support you, and things come up, and let's chat about it. And then it's also, as a producer, trying to figure out, okay, if we're going to shoot at 10 a.m., does that mean at 9 a.m. the model should then come together and start making out for an hour and really get to know each other? I think in porn, we had this kept coming up on set, is oh, okay, I'm going to get hard now. Let me go get my phone and go into the other room and make my dick hard.
Right.
And I'm some of the hottest guys, there's a person right in front of you who wants to give you what you want. Why are you going to tune into your phone screen when the real deal is right in front of you? But it just shows you how deeply ingrained we are in our habits and our patterns. Yeah,
and that's universal. That's not just these men, that's men. That's the men that I see in San Francisco, that we work on this stuff a lot together, is feeling your own turn on, and not just vicariously experiencing it through digital media, but actually getting in touch with your desire and being able to talk about it and feel it, and then reverse the shame that we have around it. It's the big thing. So
yeah. It was a lot of fun. So you guys will see some of that content in the upcoming weeks. Anything else you guys want to add about the shoot, or?
Felt amazing. I feel really glowing in it. Yeah. It was amazing.
Yeah.
We're
still I had a great time.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for being a part of the shoot and for being on the podcast. Finn, where can people get more of you?
FinnDeerhart.com. FinnDeerhart.com.
And Dalton, where can people find you?
Dalton Briggs XXX on Twitter.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for being here, and for everyone at home, thank you so much for tuning in. And next week, gosh, I don't even know what the video is next week. We've been so deep in this. Let me look right now. We'll do this in real time. I'm so unprepared today. Let's see. Next week,
you're just immersed.
I'm completely immersed.
We like built a little mini culture.
Oh my God, Explore My Body is next week. Oh my God, that's such a good one. Oh my God, Dalton, you're in that one.
Oh yeah, that's the one with Logan.
Yeah, I think this is your first him roast videos coming out.
Oh great.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait for you. It's
oh
so
my
beautiful.
God. Yeah. Well, thank you guys for listening, and as always, more to come.